So we have learned openings, how to get good positions in the opening of the game, how to make good captures, how to checkmate our opponent. And now the only thing left for us to learn to become a good player is how to deal with an endgame. When there are very less pieces on the chessboard, how do we play? So I'll show you a few endgame positions where you have very less pieces, very few pieces, and you have to checkmate and take the game to a checkmate. So first, let's see how do we checkmate him when you just have a queen left. So there is a shortcut to this. Of course, you can get your queen king closer and closer and checkmate him. That's a long process, but the shortcut I'll show you, which will help you win games easier. Just keep moving your queen at a knight's distance from the opponent king. For example, here you can go to this square. That's at a knight's distance. So why are we doing that? So that let's say he stays here. We keep going at a knight's distance, which is like this. So he will run out of squares. We are pushing him back basically by going at a knight's distance. If he comes here, we go to this square again at a knight's distance. So he will either have to move back up or move to the side. Either way, he gets pushed back. So we are pushing him back in style. So let's say he goes here. He can't go there. He goes here. We go closer. If he goes again up, we go closer. If he goes here, we come here. We keep going at knight's distance. If he goes there, we go there. If he goes here or here, we can just go here. But if you go here, then be careful. Like in this position, it will be stalemate. So don't do that. We should just give him some space. Let him move around a little bit. Right? Let's say he moves here. Now we get our king closer. His king is stuck here. He's got two squares to play. If you again move the queen closer, it's stalemate. Don't do that. You are not attacking his king. King is not in a check, and he has no squares. That's a draw. Don't do that. Just get your king closer. Give him two squares to play with. Just keep getting your king closer and closer. And now it's time to give checkmate. We have 1,000 ways. This is checkmate. 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 Everything is checkmate, right? But don't do this again. That will be stalemate. It's not a check and he can't move anywhere. But yeah, let's do the most normal checkmate. So this is how we win with just one queen left. We have to use our king as well. But first, push him back. Now, what if you have just a rook? Sorry, let's see how to win with just a rook. Here we have no shortcut. We have to push this king back the old-fashioned way. We get our rook and king closer towards him and push him back. For example, let's get our rook over here. We restrict him. We like telling him you've got this much space and you can be inside this box. You can play however you want. We will not let him go out of it. So let's say, so the key here is restriction. Don't give checks. Restrict him. Now we get our king closer. He comes here. We get our king a little bit up. Now it's time to restrict him even more. How? We go to the next line. Don't play here, then king comes down. We're pushing him up, right? Of course, you can push him down as well, but let's first learn how to push him up. If he goes here, we get our king closer because rook can't go any more closer. So we get the king closer. Now restrict. Rook comes in, right? If he comes here, don't give a check, he'll come down. We want him to go up, right? So rook is in the best place possible. We just make a waiting. We just stay in the premises. He goes up. Now time to restrict. How? Cover the next line. You can see the box is slowly getting smaller and smaller. The king has only got this much space to play with, right? If he goes here, we get our king up. If he goes here, restrict. If he goes here, we get our king up. If he goes here, again get the king up. Here, restrict. Now only 6 squares left for him. What do? We get the king. If he goes, let's say here, restrict him. Comes here, waiting move. You have to just make a small waiting move. The rook cannot go any closer. King also cannot go any closer, so we just wait. And now we have got him on the last 2 squares. Now we have to just get to the checkmate position. With the queen, we would have gone right next to him in front of him with support. But with rook, it's a little different. Let's say he goes here, we get our king closer. We get our king closer. Now, here, we can directly go down and give checkmate, right? If you go here, it's not checkmate. It's not a queen. If it was a queen, that would have been checkmate. But it's a rook. King can move. But if you cover the last line, it is checkmate. Now, sometimes when you're trying to checkmate him, it can become a little tricky. For example, after this, let's say he goes here. We play this. He comes here. We get our king closer. Again, don't do this, then it's stalemate. No. We get our king closer. He comes here. So it's a bit tricky now. Our king is covering these squares, true, but our rook cannot go down. And if you move away, he will also come out. Then it becomes even more harder, right? So here you have to know, you have to just make a small waiting move with your rook. Just make him go back and then you can go down, right? So to go down when he goes away, you have to stay on the same file. That's all. You just move back somewhere on the C line, anywhere on the C file you can go, even down, anywhere. He has to make a move and then checkmate. That's it. So that's how you win when you just have a rook. Now, let's see a pawn in game when there are just pawns. What is your feeling about this position? Do you think white can win this game? Or do you think black can take both the pawns and draw the game? Black cannot win because he's already king left. So is it a draw or is it white wins? What do you think about this position? So when you're seeing it for the first time, of course, you can pause it and think about it. When you're seeing it for the first time, you might think it's a draw because the pawns can get grabbed up by the king, by the black king, right? But this is a winning position for white. If you push a pawn, he will take it. But if you do not push a pawn and just move your king, can he really capture this pawn? Of course, he can't capture this pawn because it's supported. It's illegal for him to go there. Can he really capture this pawn? He can, but if he captures, our pawn goes up, right? He cannot catch a pawn. For example, after king g2, we might think he can take a pawn, but he can't. He can, but if he does, we run. And now we know how to win with the queen. So this is winning for us. We do the checkmate in a few moves. So after king g2, he cannot really take a pawn unless he wants to lose. He cannot take a pawn. So let's say he stays there. You get the king closer. Don't push the pawn. Then it's a draw. He will just take a pawn and it's a draw. So don't do that. Just keep getting a king up. Comes here, get the king up. Still he can't take. He'll run. So he goes back. We get a king up. And then we can push. We can get a pawn forward. Again, we can get a king up or push, whichever works. Okay, now the easiest way to win this is by just getting the king in front and then go here. Now we're covering all three squares. So the pawn can just promote. You might lose one pawn. Don't keep holding on to both pawns. That's difficult. Just get a queen. Let him take this pawn, get a queen. If you know the queen checkmate, you can win the game. Right? So endgames are a very important part of the game. When we start playing chess, it's not as important. But the more and more we play chess, you will understand that endgames are a very important part of the game. Many games go to the end where there are very few pieces left. And we have to know how to deal with endgames, where we want to keep our pieces, how to win certain endgame positions. So it is very important to focus more on endgames, the better we get at chess.